Shocking news for Mercedes. Before the Belgian Grand Prix, Hamilton was fitted with a brand new engine. At Mercedes, they had hoped that the driver would be able to finish the season with this, but nothing could possibly be further from the truth. And that can turn out to be annoying when Hamilton arrives at Circuit Zandvoort this week to get ready for the Dutch Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton may be in for an unpleasant surprise when he arrives in Zandvoort this week for the Dutch Grand Prix. So let's jump right into what's shocking for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton might have to suffer a grid penalty in Zandvoort after the clash with Fernando Alonso broke several components in his V6 engine. Hamilton landed heavily on the track after a collision with Alonso's Alpine and launched his W13 into the air. Hamilton reported to his team that he could feel damage, while footage showed some fluid coming out from the back of the Mercedes. Hamilton's engineer Pete Bonington told the Brit to stop the car some 90 seconds after the incident. He was heard saying, "Back off, no full load, part throttle, part throttle." Hamilton continued slowly around the track until he found a place to park his car. He was asked to switch off the power unit as it was noticed that damage was done. The PU was taken to the Mercedes powertrain base in Brixworth to have further inspections made and see what changes need to be made to prepare for Zandvoort, as confirmed by Motorsport. They said that after the collision, the PU is definitely a concern among other aspects of the car to inspect. Hamilton's engine component situation. Hamilton took on his third V6 engine at Spa on Friday. The Belgian Grand Prix is considered to be a great place to change engines due to the potential for overtaking. So he has now missed that opportunity and in fact damaged a brand new engine at the worst time possible. The Brit was expected to race with this engine for at least 7 other race weekends, possibly until the end of the season. It will raise another concern in regards to the budget cap since they have to think about a new engine so early. He also reached his limit when it comes to the MGU-K, Turbo, MGU-H, control electronics, and energy store. Any changes to these components will result in a grid penalty. Mercedes confirmed that his old power units still operate. The problem is that they already have a high mileage on them, which is only suitable for Friday practice sessions. So they certainly won't prove to be the best option for Monza. The gearbox is another component that the team has to look at. The gearbox carrier cracked following the hit the W13 took as it landed. The internals are another aspect which might have to change for Zandvoort. These, however, will not add to any penalties Hamilton might receive, as this will be the third set used on his car. Lewis Hamilton was forced to retire early in the Belgian Grand Prix. While the Briton could not be satisfied with his qualifying, things went wrong in the race when he collided with Fernando Alonso. The FIA gave him a warning after the race. The 7-time world champion refused to go to the medical center after the incident to get himself checked out. According to the organization, that is unacceptable, but for now it remains a warning for Hamilton. The driver is certainly not the first this season who has refused to do so, so the FIA now sees a pattern. It therefore does not rule out the possibility that in the future it will decide to hand out a penalty to the driver in question. After the race, Hamilton said he was at fault when he collided with Alonso. The Madrid-born driver managed to continue his journey and finished a neat 5th place, just ahead of Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, and George Russell. Now let's talk about Verstappen. Can Verstappen set a new winning streak? Verstappen was unstoppable in Belgium as he easily won despite starting 14th on the grid after taking a penalty for using too many engine parts. The Dutchman delivered a peerless performance at Spa to continue his imperious form on his charge to a second world championship. Verstappen has won 3 races on the trot and will be determined to win again in front of his devoted fans on home soil in Zandvoort this weekend. A maximum 26 points haul and second consecutive Dutch Grand Prix victory would see Verstappen extend his championship advantage to 100 points with 7 races to go. Verstappen has won 9 of the 14 races so far this season and remains on course to break the record for most wins in a single season. 13 set by Sebastian Vettel in 2013 and Michael Schumacher in 2004. The Red Bull driver could also eclipse Vettel's record of 9 consecutive wins. Verstappen is on a hat trick of successive victories for the second time this year. Further success in Zandvoort would take him to 4 in a row, which would mark the longest winning streak we've seen so far in 2022. Do Ferrari have a response? Ferrari had no answer to Red Bull's blistering competitiveness in Belgium, as Verstappen comfortably led home a Red Bull 1-2 on Sunday despite starting from 14th on the grid. Carlos Sainz started from pole position but slipped to 3rd at the checkered flag, while Charles Leclerc recovered to 5th but was penalized for speeding in the pit lane and subsequently dropped to 6th. Ferrari are hopeful the two teams will be more closely matched at Zandvoort so they can challenge for their first victory since Austria. Overall, I think that simply the Red Bull is a faster car compared to what we've got in terms of efficiency, conceded Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto. He also added, at Spa you need efficiency from the aerodynamics and the power unit, but also we had tire degradation that we need to look into, because they were stronger in terms of tire degradation, so I don't think it has been an outlier. They're faster than us. He concluded, what I'm hoping is that certainly the gap we've seen today we will not see at the next races, because Spa has always been amplifying the gaps, because it's a long track and wherever you have an advantage in terms of efficiency, it's amplified and very obvious in such a circuit. Alpine is also on a roll against McLaren. It was another great weekend for Alpine in their constructors' battle against McLaren at Spa. Having survived first lap contact with Hamilton, Alonso took a strong 5th, while Esteban Ocon charged from 16th on the grid to finish 7th, securing the French outfit's 4th consecutive double points finish. Alpine's competitive showing led Ocon to hail the performance as our best weekend of the year so far, and probably since I joined the team. In contrast, there was more disappointment for McLaren, who suffered a pointless weekend in Belgium. Starting from the back of the grid due to a penalty for engine component changes, Lando Norris rose to 12th, but was frustrated in a DRS train led by Alex Albon's point-scoring Williams. Meanwhile, Daniel Ricciardo's misery continued as he slipped down the order and out of the points from 7th on the grid, eventually finishing 15th and once again behind Norris. The result has seen Alpine strengthen their grip on 4th place in the constructors' standings, pulling 20 points clear of McLaren. Alpine and McLaren are also locked in an off-track battle regarding who will win the services of Oscar Piastri next season. An FIA hearing to settle the contract dispute between the two teams started on Monday, with the FIA Contract Recognition Board set to rule which team Piastri belongs to. Alpine are confident of winning Piastri's services, while the reigning F2 champion and his manager Mark Webber believe they have a valid contract with McLaren next season. McLaren terminated Ricciardo's contract a year early with the intention of placing Piastri in a race seat alongside Norris for 2023. A decision is expected to come later this week ahead of the weekend's Dutch Grand Prix. Expect plenty more reaction from both parties in Zandvoort if a verdict is reached before the weekend. Alonso also rages at Hamilton. This idiot can only drive when starting first. Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton are not on the best of terms, but that relationship has taken a turn for the worse at the Belgian Grand Prix. Hamilton steered into his former teammate, ending his own race and costing Alonso hard-earned positions. Alonso did not hold back when he complained about the Mercedes driver on the radio. Alonso rages at Hamilton on team radio. After the incident, Alonso unleashed a tirade about his old rival. "What an idiot," shouted the Spaniard, who was unhappy with the way Hamilton slammed the door while still on the outside next to him. "We had a mega start, but this guy only knows how to drive starting first." After the race, the Alpine driver had cooled down and was more lenient with the Briton. It was a very unfortunate moment because every time we start in top 3 or top 2, in lap 1 we lose that momentum and something happens to us, Alonso explained his frustration to Viaplay. Alonso can laugh at the choice from Ferrari. Speaking to Sky Sports, Alonso also had something to say about Ferrari's remarkable late stop, which saw Charles Leclerc lose his position to the Spaniard. "I was surprised," Alonso admitted, "but Ferrari always does some strange strategy, so that was one of those." So what do you think about all this? Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Well, that's it from this video. We sincerely hope that you liked seeing this video. Please subscribe to our channel if you would like to see more of the stuff that we produce. We are overjoyed that you're able to be with us today, and we love the chance to do so again in the coming days. Bye bye.